Okay, now let's finally start talking about the actual honors program. Let's cover the basics first. This is going to become a little tedious in the next video, but here's the basic idea of the program. First off, we have about 300 to 350 undergraduate students. This number fluctuates a good bit because we do a lot of incoming freshmen advising, and so the number will get really high, sometimes up to almost 400. And then as the year goes on, we have students, we find out who dropped the program, who transferred, or students who graduated, and so it can go all the way down closer to 300. So it's just going to vary a bit, but just as an average, assume that you have about 300 to 350 students that you're managing at one time. As far as requirements to join the program, there are two basic requirements to enter the honors program. The first is a 3.5 GPA or higher, and this is what we use as a kind of our base requirement. So, for example, if the second requirement doesn't quite make it, we're definitely going to look at the GPA, and we do expect a 3.5 or higher, and this is usually on a high school transcript. The second requirement is a 1200 or higher combined math and verbal SAT or a 26 or higher ACT score. We sometimes can be a little flexible with this, but like I said, if this is a little low, we will look at the GPA, and if the GPA isn't matching up either, we're probably going to suggest the student waits a little bit and see if their college grades can be a little bit stronger. So this is kind of the secondary requirement. Definitely depend on the GPA though. 3.5 or higher has to be there. Students can join the program in one of two ways. The first way, which is probably a little bit more common, is as an admissions scholar. And basically an admissions scholar is an entering freshman who meets those two above requirements. They will actually receive a letter automatically from admissions telling them that they meet the requirements and that they should contact Dr. Davis to discuss the honors program. So a lot of our students come in as incoming freshmen, and that's, like I said, probably the predominant way that most people join the program, but there is a second way. And the second way is students who have shown to be successful underclassmen who are under 60 hours or less, and they meet a 3.5 GPA requirement in their high school, or I'm sorry, their college transcript. And they choose to join after they maybe hear about the program from a friend, or they find out about us on campus, so they come and they just simply ask us, can we set up a meeting to discuss the program, and Dr. Davis will meet with them and decide if they're qualified or not. So those are the two ways that somebody can join the honors program. So as you've heard me harp about already like 4 times, we need to make sure that the students are maintaining a 3.5 GPA or higher during the duration of the program. Now, that's kind of challenging for some students, particularly those who are pre-med, because there's a couple classes that are really difficult for students to make A's or B's in, and it's usually something like the second chemistry class, for example, is a notorious class for dropping down people's GPAs. So what we do permit is a student to have 2 probationary periods, which basically accounts for a whole year. So for 2 probationary periods, a student is permitted to be below a 3.5 or higher. During this time, they don't receive priority registration, and they are being watched to make sure that their grades get improved. If 2 probationary periods have passed and their grades still have not improved up to a point of a 3.5 or higher, they are dropped from the honors program. A question that you'll get asked a lot from students and parents is, does the honors program provide any scholarship or any form of financial assistance? And the answer flat is no. We wish we could, but we don't. And what we do tell students, though, is that we are affiliated with a National Honor Society called Phi Kappa Phi. Dr. Davis has a lot of information about this organization that you might want to ask her about to acquaint yourself so that you can be ready to tell students more about the program. But what you can tell them from the get-go is that Phi Kappa Phi does offer very selective scholarships to their students. So if they're interested in financial aid through an honor society, recommend them to consider joining Phi Kappa Phi as part of the honors program. And finally, just something that you might want to be aware of is that we recently added a student advisory board to the program. The Student Advisory Board is a very new student organization on campus. They're considered an RSO, which means a registered student organization, which means they're like any other club on campus. So something like any of the faith-based organizations, any of the special interest groups, like, I don't know, a chess club, for example. They fit under the same category as that kind of group. And what the Student Advisory Board is there for, it's a couple different things. First is that they want to improve the community life of students who are in the honors program. They want to make sure that the students are connected with one another, that they're being intellectually challenged by other students, and they can do events that interest them. So this is what they're starting to do right now in the very beginning stages. Right now they're fundraising, they're getting the word out, trying to recruit the members. So expect to have some contact with the leaders of that board in the near future. Right now, two of the main people who are heading up this project, this advisory board, is Stephen Chambly. He's one of the students. He's going to be graduating in the near future. He's the president of the organization. So if you have any questions about this, you want more information, feel free to email him. His email is part of that current honor students list. Again, Stephen Chambly. So if you have any questions, just message him. And the other student I would suggest possibly talking to if you're interested, her name is Samantha Roberts, and she will be in your office a lot because she has a lot of questions and she wants to make sure that she's doing well. So you'll probably get to know her pretty quick anyway, but her name is Samantha Roberts, and she'll answer any questions about the board if you have any. I also want to talk about some benefits of the honors program, because when a student asks you, well, why should I join the honors program? You have to have some good reasons, so here they are. The first main reason, and this is the reason, honestly, that half the students join the program, why they stay in the program, it's worth the whole thing, honestly. It's priority registration. And priority registration allows all of the honor students whose grades are still at a 3.5 or higher and who have attended their midterm conference advising session to register before everybody else on campus. It's, I think, about a 3 to 5 day advantage. And why this is so great is that students are often fighting or to get into the classes they need. Either all of the sections are full or the professor that they want is full, and so it's very stressful for the students. And this is a great incentive to them to be in the honors program, is to have that head start on registering for the classes. So our students never really have a hard time getting into the classes that they want because they register in advance. Another great benefit of the program is personalized mentorship from honors faculty members. So we keep a list of faculty members who have chosen to teach our honors classes or mentor our students, and we try to pair students with somebody who shares very similar academic interests to them. And we keep a list of this, and it's currently being revised. It's probably on your desk right now, actually. So it needs to be typed up and put on our website and put on our bulletin board in the Honors Lounge. That's a project for you in the near future. But that list is all of the recent faculty members we've contacted who have told us, yes, we are still interested in participating. So that's a great benefit to our students because it allows them to have personal attention throughout the whole duration of the program. It gives them some academic challenges because they're allowed to ask questions to their faculty members and work closely with them on research projects or things like that. So they're getting benefits that most students at KSU are not getting. Another great benefit of the program is honors sections of general education courses. A general education course is something like math, English, science, history. It's basically that core curriculum that every student at Kennesaw, regardless of their major, is required to take. And I would suggest, just as a side note, get to know the general education requirements at KSU. There's a pink sheet, and I would memorize it if you can. It really helps when students ask you questions to know the core curriculum very well, inside and out, because it's going to make their life easier. So just make sure that you affiliate yourself with the pink sheet, get to know it pretty well, feel somewhat confident in what is actually required of every student at KSU if you aren't already. So the reason that an honors section of a general education course is a benefit is because a lot of the general education sections at KSU are very large. So, for example, an economics class, global economics, is a required course for most students at KSU, and the courses are usually between 40 to 250 students, and so there's not a lot of personal attention given to every student in the classroom. With an honors section of general education, that same economics class can be taught with about 25 students. So there's a lot more personal attention, and also you can move at a quicker, more challenging pace. The students get to know other students who share academic interests with them. They can think about critical issues. They can write more advanced papers. So it really just challenges our students and gives them more personal attention. Another similar benefit is specialized honors courses, and we'll talk a lot about what those courses look like in the next video. But for now, just know that one thing that is a benefit to our students who are in the program is that they are able to take very specialized honors courses in a lot of topics. And so these count usually as elective courses, and they're something that the student is very interested in. So a lot of our students really enjoy these classes. I know for me personally, when I was in the program, these are some of my favorite classes throughout my whole college education. Another benefit of the honors program is access to the honors lounge. The honors lounge is right to your left, and this room is reserved strictly for honors students and dual enrollment students. Students are allowed to come into the lounge to study, to eat, to sleep, to do whatever they want really. A lot of times they'll actually have good discussions and maybe debate a little bit. So that's a great privilege for them. It's just their space. And that's good because a lot of times there are places on campus that are just really loud or distracting. And so the Honors Lounge is just a great place for them to hang out, spend their time studying if they need to. And the final benefit of the program is that it's very flexible and tailored directly to that student's interest. A lot of honors programs have a set, very strict curriculum for their students. And so everybody's doing something very similar within the program, and that isn't the case for our students. There is a curriculum, and I'll explain that in the next video, what it looks like, but the program is very flexible. Students have a lot of options into how they fulfill all the requirements of that curriculum. So those are just some benefits of the program, and in the next video we're going to discuss what that curriculum actually looks like and how students are going to fulfill all those requirements.